It is absolutely the time to make the first boss battle against the water people. I just kind of bumped into one, and now how to finish this whole thing. Because I've been bumping into water people over and over again. You know, the psychopaths and the cheerleaders, the copycats, and the secret hiders. All of them just care about their own feelings and to satisfy those feelings, meaning that they will always flow like a river. If there's a bump in the road, they're just gonna go all the way around it. They're not gonna care about trying, right? Trying is not something they do. They will not learn difficult subjects. They will not engage with difficult people. They just flow right around the obstacles. So let me put it all down together. Yeah, I find it fascinating that this is an episode 69 because water people are obsessed with feeling good, meaning that they're pretty much interested in 69 for sure. For sure, guys. They're more obsessed about sex than anyone else. The most lustful people, but at the same time, the most fearful. If anything goes wrong, they will back away, but as long as everything is going right, again, they will either cheerlead or what are those? Sociopaths. It's not a fucking verb. What do sociopaths do? They try and read your emotions. So they will either cheer on you, or if they see an opportunity to be curious and there's no real harm in being curious, they will invade your privacy and figure out how you react to certain situations and certain triggers, right? They will start pushing your buttons. So read your emotions. It's kind of secondary. Push buttons. Yeah, but you cannot say that cheerleaders are nice because they will push you in front of the line. They're the hiders, right? The button pushers are the fighters, right? Because they actually engage in something that they believe in. Where cheerleaders only cheer on the people they believe in. They don't do anything else. Right? They're only kind of helpful, but they hide from the actual fight, well, from the actual conflict. And still, it's pretty interesting, right? This is an entire spectrum of personalities, and it's very, very dominant right now, very relevant in the current age. Again, I call the age 1433, meaning that this one right there, where the water people are, they're gravitated towards the greatest amount of value, right? Most of the time they're going to achieve the most amount of value and pretty much going to be privileged, right? Leftism is dominating authorities, let's put it that way. Most of the authorities are dominated by the left and the left views, but at the same time, we have a little bit of resistance. I am totally irrelevant in what's going on in the world, and I will prove that time and time again. The water people continuously run away from me because, like, I am genuinely angry person, and I will be angry at everyone because there's just too much stuff to be angry about, right? So I will just be generally angry at everything. And the closer you get to me, like, I will protect you from my own anger. I will give you something valuable. And I am good at what I'm doing, right? I'm good at keeping myself angry and still thinking clearly at the same time. You shouldn't feel like too bad interacting with me, but that's what the water people happen to do. Now it's kind of weird. Again, water and earth don't really have, like, it's a neutral interaction. Like, what the fuck happens there? Water just bumps in, does something good to the earth person, and they just sort of separate themselves. There's no, like, consistent interaction. So I'll continue to bump into water people, and they continue to slip away, right? And not care about what I'm doing is too much. Right? They will only test whether someone cares about them or not, and I don't. I often don't care about other people because, like, I have my own shit to deal with, obviously. And the fact that I'm releasing videos is, again, not exactly caring for other people. I am trying to figure the shit out. If this is helpful to you, that's great, right? But the main intention is to store all this information, to train myself, and at the same time, yes, help people, whoever are capable of helping themselves with all of this information. It's pretty fascinating. I just opened myself to opportunities, but the main intention is not to help anyone. Because I have been helping myself my whole life. I don't understand what helping up another person actually even means, besides just putting the resources out there so anyone can pick it up if they feel like they can handle it, right? Now, I've listened to, I guess I threw him away a little bit. Let me bring it up again. Leo was talking about non-duality. I don't think his video is actually that great. And he really, really likes to talk with water people for some reason. He's just based in that sort of mentality that everyone is trying to fluff their own lives, to feel good about their lives. Like, I feel bad for anyone who's drowning surrounded by water people. It's just terrifying. I think Americans are just generally water leaning. So, as a nation, so we'll find a lot of, like, good things sort of happening in America, but at the same time there's, like, this looming shadow of just, you guys are just addicted. You guys are just trying to make things look nice for the moment, but everything will crash eventually. So you can delay the crash, but then the crash actually gets worse and worse, and everyone is, like, talking about it. Like, what the fuck Americans are doing? Taking on bigger and bigger debts, taking on more risk, and thinking less about actually relevant topics. What the fuck is going on over there? Yeah, we're capable of delaying the crash, and I have no idea when it actually happens and what happens. I can only focus on the personality right now and understand that, yes, that's what they do. They get addicted, cherry pick feelings and events but the scary part happens when they ignore the future and consequences. I had a friend, a long time friend, who has been captured by these water people. Basically, he wanted to help some girl who's addicted. I don't know why. I don't know why you would want to help anyone like this. Right? You have so much self-esteem that you can actually you actually know how to fix an issue like this, like whatever. So I stepped in, I said a few things to him. I wanted to interact with that girl directly without without saying him specifically, but like I said to him like, oh, I know the details of that girl, and just it infuriated him that I would put things together and figure out who she actually was, and then contact her and figure out that yes, she's a fucking sociopath basically, and she just doesn't give a fuck, right? And is willing to completely destroy herself and her own life for the sake of constantly feeling good in the moment and forgetting the future. And just water people are just that sort of disgusting. And especially now that they're the most relevant type of people, right? There is like lack of meaning in the world, and at the same time there's incredible amount of resources being thrown. So you can feel good all the time and feel happy all the time. But what do people, even though they have this habit of figuring out how to be happy and collect those good feelings, they will easily get bored, right? That's the problem of ADHD. And now I'm sort of like, I hated this term because it tags people as they cannot concentrate. They always try to pick up those whatever feels good for them, right? They're always they can't possibly rest easy because that makes them bored, and boredom is just the most damaging thing to them specifically. For me, I don't really feel bored because I have set up my life in a way that I'm kind of solving this problem. I know how to deal with this. And sometimes I feel bored, but most of the time is because everything kind of goes wrong, and I had to back off. And this is what happens with ADHD people as well. They back off from a lot of events. Well, and people too. A lot of things that would make them happy if they just had a little bit more patience. They back away from that, and then they put themselves in a position where they're bored. And it's like, what? You expect me to entertain you? Because saying that you're bored, I am bored, probably is the most aggravating thing you can say to me, because like, holy shit, you're not gonna get pity from that. That is the worst thing you can, the worst pain that you can throw at someone. Is like, entertain me, buddy. because I'm so bored. Expecting that someone's going to entertain you is just nonsense. You have to entertain yourself. You have to find things interesting. So yeah, that's your responsibility. I cannot do it for you. I cannot make maps upon maps that you would be able to play. Because, like, what do I get in return? Do I cure my boredom? Or you might not even find most of those maps interesting, or whatever I create interesting videos. Like, you can just go away because you feel like, this is stupid. This is not interesting at all. Like, okay. But there's some things, as you can see, are piling up. There's something can be exposed as a conclusion of this whole thing. This is still the first boss battle. This is still just water people, and although they're most relevant, as I said, I wanted to expose PewDiePie. I wanted to deal with the wind personality. But still, making a conclusion would be really, really good, right? Exposing, like, yes, they don't care about the futures and something is going to crash. And yes, they constantly run away from things that would make them happy simply because it feels bad in that moment and they don't feel like they can deal with this. But simply they probably just don't have tools. And they don't have people that would protect them or whatever. That would think for them, basically. It's just so stupid sometimes. So what's gonna happen as a consequence of all this bubbling up and then bursting? What's gonna happen to all these water people that I so much hate because they're the privileged ones. They have the most power ever. They collect the best things in the world. They get those cherry-picked relationships between people. So they pick up the best things that the world has to offer, and they're still fucking annoyed. They're still uncomfortable. It's like, holy shit, these fucking assholes are really annoying and not worth my time. I liked a girl, which I already told. It's a water person. Also, Tenten seems to be like a water person. But that girl gave me a few interesting interactions and gave me this kind of lustful feeling for, yeah, I wanna grab that hoe. I wanna get some love, right? But at the same time, that was just too much for me. Like, this is fucking stupid. How could a person just think in that one direction of just feelings and live their life completely in darkness of what is actually happening? Like, this is so weird. But at the same time, that girl seemed to be pretty smart on like this general level. Like, how does that even work? How do I put all of this together? One thing that I recommend is just sitting back and watching those people run around. Ask them a few questions of what they like, because they like a lot of things and they will give you good suggestions for what to like as well, because they're very genuine in the things that they like. Very, very genuine. So they'll give you some good tips, good advice of which parts of life to explore, because they're travelers, they're explorers. But other than that, even though they're friendly, expect them to come into your life, get a little bit of that value, and then let them go. It's like there's no way they're gonna stay. There's no way they even operate as people, in a way, which is kind of weird, right? Like little robots running around and just acting their part. They have no awareness of themselves, right? Whether they are fighters or hiders. Now, the interesting thing should probably happen when the water becomes both a fighter and a hider. Water person. What happens then? Obviously, anything between a hider and a fighter is going to be like a really powerful and really amazing personality to actually interact with. I would imagine a water person like that to be kind of hot and cold person. They will always stick with you, but they will get cold on you just to make things interesting, and for them to just back away and collect some interesting things, and they come back and be like, here's some things that I like that I found about life. It's like, this is the perfect interaction when you have someone you can trust. But because water people cannot be pinned down, they will always gonna go all over the place, right? They will keep on being ADHD, and the way to win the battle is to not kill the ADHD, but to make it like as balanced as possible, right? They still have to walk around the same people that they can trust, so they wouldn't put themselves in a position of so much fear where they have to just bounce around with aimlessly, right? And completely lose focus of what life is all about. But instead belong to some kind of group of people. In and out, right? Jump in and out and bring value over time. Give themselves credit and give themselves good feelings of staying somewhere. Really good feelings that you get for actually caring of specific people, right? So that's my take on this. Now, I still don't know what's gonna happen when everything collapses, because everyone is running aimlessly. Nobody gives a fuck about stable relationships. Who cares, right? Let's just fuck with dragons and inanimate objects at this point, and animals, right? Because diversity. Let's get the fuck out of here, man.